So that's how it brings a lot of positive energy to us and a lot of opportunity for us to be with our family to show our love. So that is why Chinese Spring Festival is very special for each Chinese person.
Oh, hello there. I'm Jimmy Shuker, alongside Albert Chalmers and Shawn Goodman, and this is Radiant Light, episode 29, Chinese New Year. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to like this episode or subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as whichever platform you listen to your podcasts on.
Hello, Sherrie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Shawn. It's my great honor.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Before we get started, why don't you begin by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Sherrie Su. My Chinese name is Su Zifang. I am from Shanxi province, China, but now I live in Tianjin. I am a public speaker, public speaking coach in both Mandarin and English. In 2018, I won the second place in the Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking, and you can find my winning speech turnaround on YouTube. Now I am a public speaking coach. I am also the founder of TAS, Turnaround Speakers. We help people improve their public speaking skills to use their voice to spread love and value. Thank you. Great to see you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember watching your speech online, not in person, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a great speech. It was really inspirational. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, so today we are talking about Spring Festival, also known
Yeah.
as Chinese New Year or sometimes called Lunar New Year in North
Yes.
America.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping that we could begin by you telling our listeners a little bit about Spring Festival and just start off by saying what it is and why Chinese people celebrate it.
All right. So Chinese New Year, which is also called the Spring Festival, is the most important festival in China, in Chinese culture. It is a celebration of the beginning of a new year on the traditional calendar, which is the lunar calendar. The lunar calendar is based on moon cycles, so the dates of the new year could be slightly different each year. And this year, we will have our New Year's Eve on February 9th and our New Year's Day on February 10th. That will be 9 days. 9 days later, we will have our New Year's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. That's coming up soon.
Stay with us all the way through until the end of this episode, where we've got an exclusive preview of what's coming your way next time on Radiant Light.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you could maybe share some different traditions or customs that people will follow on Chinese New Year, maybe things that they do with their friends or their family, ways that they will celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Actually, one of the traditions is cleaning and decorating. It is tradition for Chinese people thoroughly clean their house before the Chinese before the Chinese New Year. So at this time of the year, people are very busy. They're doing a lot of cleaning because we want to sweep away all the bad luck. So everything will be new and clean. And another thing is we will do decorations. For example, put red paper cuts and red couplets, and this there is a big decoration with the character Fu. Fu means good fortune. So we usually put it on our doors. And sometimes we also buy red lanterns to decorate the house. So a lot of red things. And we will also buy some red clothes and wear red clothes because the color red will bring good fortune and happiness, just like the red shirt I'm wearing today. And also on the New Year's Eve, we will have a big dinner and also we'll fire firecrackers. But in big cities now, it's forbidden to fire firecrackers because it causes a lot of pollution and sometimes it's not safe. But you can still have them in the village or in the countryside. And when I was a little girl, this is my favorite part. So during the midnight, we will go out to fire firecrackers and fireworks, and it's very pretty and very beautiful. Everyone is super happy. So on the first day of the new year, we will put on new clothes and visit people and give them best wishes and greetings to say 过年好, that means Happy New Year, and 恭喜发财, wish you a lot of wealth. And the elder people will give children lucky money with red envelopes. So this is great time for children. So they're very happy. They are very polite because when they see someone, they say 过年好, Happy New Year, or 恭喜发财. And then they're expecting red envelopes with the lucky money so they can buy toys and buy snacks. And because right now I'm not a child anymore, I have to prepare a lot of red envelopes before the Chinese New Year. Yeah, so it's not fun as it was when I was a child, but it's okay.
So how many do you normally give out then to people in your community?
It changes. When I was little, usually people gave you 20 RMB or 30. But later, when I was about 10 years old, people usually gave 50. And now, at least 100 RMB.
Wow. I
At least
imagine that
100.
I think that would really add up then if you're going back to your hometown and you're giving them out to, all your relatives and the neighbors
Yeah.
and maybe different kids in the community or the village. I imagine that would really add up to an expensive bill.
Yes, but when I was little, my uncle will give me 100 and my mom will give my uncle's child 100. So you can call it even. But there was a very awkward time when I was just got married, but I didn't have a baby. But I had to give a lot of people to other children, but I don't get any money back. So it's like I spend a lot of money, but I don't earn any money back. So that is one of the reasons why my parents asked me, you should have child as soon as possible. So during the Chinese New Year, you can get money back.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's one thing that I heard was a difference between different regions in China. So I lived in Tianjin, and we were neighbors there. And then later I lived in Hangzhou, but I've heard from some people in further south, like in Guangdong. And so for our listeners out there who might not know, this is a really southern province in China. It's right above Hong Kong and Macau. It's right in that area. And so I heard that in this area, people will still get like the red envelopes or the lucky money, um, even up until maybe they're like their late 20s or their 30s if they're not married. Is that still common or?
Yes, if you're not married, it's still common. So when I was about 25, 26, I was not married. So some people would not give me lucky money, but still some relatives would say, "Oh, you're not married, you're still young. Here is your red envelope." So, but I was very embarrassed.
Oh,
So it depends on the person, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and going back to the fireworks,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is something that I was really amazed by. So I first lived in China in 2013
Yeah.
in
Uh-huh.
Tianjin, and I remember at this
Mm-hmm.
time I think the regulations were still a little bit less strict as they are today,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I remember just
Mm-hmm.
the whole night sky just lighting up with fireworks. And again, for
Mm.
our listeners who might not know, Tianjin is a really big city. You know, it's one of the largest cities in China. It's got
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I think about, you can correct me if I'm wrong, about 15 million people. Maybe it's gotten bigger since then, but um, so pretty big, bigger than any city in Canada. And I remember just looking out my window and just seeing all the buildings, the skyscrapers, and it was just the whole sky was just really lit up. And this wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just this wasn't like a professional fireworks display like put on by the city. It was just everybody, going outside and setting them off with their family,
Mm-hmm.
which I remember just being in
Huh.
in awe seeing that. So did you still see that so much in big cities like Tianjin, or is that something that's more just for the countryside these days?
Mm-hmm. In Tianjin, maybe in in the center of the city, you cannot eat so much because it's forbidden. But in the area where I am living, it's not in the center. So you can still see fireworks, you can still hear a lot of noises. And yeah, we have rules, it's forbidden, but still you cannot control everyone. Maybe someone they feel without fireworks it's boring, it's not New Year. So still some people would just light one or two fireworks, and then you cannot catch them and people will forgive them. But in the countryside is a big celebration, and everyone will go out to firecrackers and fireworks. Mhm.
This is Radiant Light. You can even follow us on Instagram, radiant_light_podcast.
So now that we've learned about some of the different common traditions and customs, maybe we can get a little bit more into the some of the folklore, the legends, because here on
Yeah,
a
sure.
Radiant Light, this is a
Mm-hmm.
topic that the listeners are really interested in. And I know
Mm-hmm.
we've talked a little bit about some Chinese folklore before, especially we did an episode on the Shaolin Temple, and we looked at some of their
Oh.
mythology and
Mm-hmm.
folklore. So what are some
Mm-hmm.
of the legends associated with Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year? And what
Mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
what's the story behind why people wear red and why they
Mm-hmm.
set off firecrackers?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So one of the stories is that there is a monster. Long, long time ago, there was a monster called Nian. So every New Year's Eve, Nian will come and attack people and livestock. So people are very scared and they had to run away to hide in the mountains. And one day, an old man came. A very kind old lady served him some dumplings and said, "Please eat quickly, and later you have to hide before Nian comes." And the old man said, "Don't worry, I will find a way to drive this monster away." All the villagers ran away. The next morning, when they returned, they find their village was unharmed. So they asked the old man what was his secret. And he said he used red papers and lighted some firecrackers. And they found out Nian was afraid of the color red, lights, and big noises. So that's why we wear red clothes, we put red paper cuts and couplets, and also we light lanterns and use firecrackers and fireworks. So to protect our life, so the monster Nian would never return. So that is one of the stories about why we wear red and also light the firecrackers.
Because
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to
Uh,
say I think it must have worked pretty well because I don't think Nian has returned in 3,000 years, so something must be working.
There's another story. I really like this one. So actually, Chinese Spring Festival is not just about Chinese New Year's Eve or Chinese New Year Day. It's a period of time. And one of the stories is 1 week before the Chinese New Year, the king of kitchen, the god of kitchen, will go to heaven to report everything that happens in this family. Because during this year, he was watching everything that happens in this family. So every 1 week before New Year's Day, he will return to the heaven to report. So on that day, we eat candies. The reason why we eat candies is that we want him to say nice and sweet things about our family and don't say bad things. You know, maybe we made some mistakes, but don't report that. Only say nice and sweet things to the Jade Emperor. So that will be 2 days later. The day after tomorrow will be the day when the god of the kitchen will go to the heaven. So everyone will eat candy that day.
This is Radiant Light. You can always reach out to us at Radiant Light Podcast 1, that's the number 1, at gmail.com.
Yeah, and maybe you could tell us, do you know much about the lion dance? Because I heard that that was also a way to try to scare off Nian as well.
Yeah, to be honest, the truth is you don't see lion dance here everywhere here in China. Actually, it's more popular in Chinatown, I think, in foreign countries, in Chinatowns, in other countries. So actually, I have a foreign friend who came to China. He expected to see lion dances everywhere, but he was disappointed because he didn't see it very often. I think when I was a little child, there were some performance and celebrations, and also including line dances on the street. But now it's not that popular. But in some area, I think in the south, in south of China, it's more popular. So some people would do the line dance. I'm I don't know it very well, but I think it's also a way to scare monsters away to do the lion dance. And also another thing is to do the dragon dance. It also takes a team to do the dragon dance, and also it looks very nice. Mhm.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, and when I was doing some research as well, I read that some of the movements from the lion dance are also used in southern Chinese kung fu. Um, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all I came across. That was just one line I came across in my readings, but I thought that that was kind of cool. And we also like to talk about martial arts on the podcast, so
Mm,
maybe that'll be a topic
uh-huh,
to explore a little bit more in the future.
uh-huh.
Um, Another aspect of the new year that a lot of Western listeners would likely be familiar with is
Mhm.
the zodiac, so the Chinese
Yeah.
zodiac. So do you think you could tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about the zodiac and its origin story and how it came to be?
Okay, sure. The Chinese zodiac or 生肖 is is a repeating 12-year cycle of animal signs in the order of rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. And this year, 2024, will be the year of dragon. And about the zodiac, there is a story. There is a great zodiac animals race. Long, long time ago, the Jade Emperor said, okay, I want to measure time by 12 animals. I will choose 12 animals to be the zodiac animals. We will have a big race. the first 12 animals who arrive first will be the zodiac animals. So all the animals are so excited. So the rat is thinking, oh no, I'm so small, I'm not fast. What should I do? And the rat tells the cat, okay, the race is not tomorrow. The race will be the day after tomorrow. So the cat was sleeping on the race day. So you don't see cat is on the list. And then the rat was riding on the ox. And when they arrived, the rat jumps out of the ox and became the first one. So you would see the first zodiac animal will be rat. And the dragon will be the fifth of the zodiac animal. There is a story that on the way, the dragon saw the crops, all the crops were lake of water. So the dragon stops and water all the crops. And then it caused a lot of time. So he was a little bit late. And also there's another interesting story about the dragon. Dragon can fly and also can swim. He also wants to be the king of all the animals, but the king of all the animals is tiger. So the dragon is thinking, what am I missing? And then he saw the rooster. The rooster at that time had beautiful horns. So the dragon says, if I had those beautiful horns, I would be the most beautiful animal. And I'm also strong. I would be the king of all the animals. So the dragon asked the rooster, can I borrow your horns? The rooster said, no. Please, I will return them back to you. Please, just one day. And then the rooster said yes. And with the horns, the dragon looks so beautiful. And also, so the Jade Emperor was very happy. And he said, okay, the tiger will be the king of the animals on the land, and the dragon will be the king of animals in the ocean. So the dragon was very happy. But he was thinking, no, I don't want to return these beautiful horns. So he decided to hide in the ocean to avoid see the rooster. So the rooster was very angry and his face was red. And this is the interesting part. Every morning, the rooster will yell to the sky, 还给我! Give them back to me. Give them back to me. So now you can see the rooster's face is always red with anger. And every morning the rooster will say, 还给我! In Chinese, it means give them back to me. So that's the story about the zodiac race and the dragon and also about the rooster. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really cool story. And I especially like too the part about the dragon stopping to help the villagers. I think that
Mm-hmm.
I think that also really exemplifies this difference between the dragon, yeah, between the dragon in Chinese and Western mythology, right? Because in the West, dragons are
Mm-hmm.
usually seen as um, they're certainly clever, but they're oftentimes, wicked
Mm-hmm.
or evil. People are
Mm-hmm.
fighting against them. So it seems like
Mm-hmm.
the dragon in Chinese mythology is a lot more, maybe a lot more positive, right? A lot more
Mm-hmm.
benevolent
Yeah,
and
yeah,
kind.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're powerless, but they are also very kind. They want to dragons want to help and protect people. So we like dragons. We don't think they are evil or anything bad. That's why Chinese people like dragon very much.
So what are some of the different characteristics of the dragon? So of course we don't have time to go through, maybe all of the zodiac, but
Mm-hmm.
most people in the
Mm-hmm.
West are familiar with the fact that different zodiac animals have different qualities that are
Mm-hmm.
associated with them, personality traits. They say that people born in a certain year have X traits or Y
Yeah.
traits. So what are
Mm-hmm.
dragons like? What kind of qualities come with
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
a dragon?
Yeah. Mm. Zodiac animal signs is not just about the year, the time of the year. Also, it's about people's personality and even their career and marriage, according to which year you were born. So I am a tiger, so my personality should be strong. I don't know, maybe I am strong. And the people who are born in the year of dragon are full of fighting spirit and full of energy, and they are great leaders. Chinese zodiac is not just about the time of the year, it's also about people's personalities, even their marriage and career. For example, I am a tiger. I have this strong personality. And the people who are born in the year of dragon are full of fighting spirit and they are full of energy. They're great leaders. They attract a lot of people, a lot of followers. But the people who are dragon, they can be very pride and maybe sometimes they are lack of willpower. But overall, people think people who are born in the year of dragon are great because they are successful, they will become leaders. So that is why a lot of dragon babies will be born in this year because parents want to have dragon babies.
Yeah, that's something I thought that was really interesting too, is that a lot of
Mm-hmm.
this, people will do family planning, plan their pregnancies
Yeah.
um, around different zodiac signs. And I was reading as well that in 2012, which was the last year of the dragon, right? That was 12 years ago, that the birth rate went up by 5% that year because I guess a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
had been waiting because they wanted a dragon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People usually don't like babies to be born in the year of rat or in the year of goat. They don't think baby are gonna have good luck if they were born in that year, especially if you were born in the year of rat. There are gonna be a lot of difficulties during your life, and also if you were born in the year of goat, also you don't have a lot of good luck. But if you were born in the year of tiger, dragon, yeah, you will be leaders. And if you were born in the year of pigs, and you will be very happy, you will have a lot of food and you will have a lot of happiness. And I watched this video. The wife is pregnant and expecting a baby very soon, and the husband talked to the baby, could you please wait for 2 more weeks so you will become a dragon baby, so please be patient and come out later. We just wait for another 2 weeks. Yeah, that's very interesting. Mhm.
Well, what about my year? So I was born in the year of the snake. So what are
uh,
snakes usually like?
I think if you are born in the year of snake, you are very smart, you're very clever, but sometimes maybe uh, but sometimes you will do some tricks. And also you will bring a lot of fortune because snakes also means also brings a lot of fortune. Mhm. So what do
Okay.
you think?
Well, I don't know about doing tricks. I'd like to hope not, but I do like the part about bringing good fortune there.
There's some sayings. If you are a dog, if you were born in the year of dog, you should not marry someone who was born in the year of rooster, because there is a Chinese saying, 鸡犬不宁. Dogs and roosters are always fighting. So if you don't want to marry someone who is a rooster. But I am a tiger, and my husband Jim is a rabbit. And my parents are very happy because I am stronger. Tiger is stronger than the rabbit. So they think I will control my husband and my husband will will listen to me, something like that.
So I'm just
Mm.
wondering, how do you think holidays or traditions or festivals have changed or evolved, either for better or for worse in China?
Mhm.
You know, whether from your
Yeah.
grandparents' lifetime or maybe just changes that
Mm.
you've even seen in your own lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely changing because when I was a child, this Chinese New Year is the happiest time of all year because usually you don't wear a lot of new clothes and you don't have a lot of toys and you don't firecrackers and you don't have all those delicious food. So during that time, everyone's super happy. And my parents told me when they were young, they were even happier than I when I was a child because during their childhood they didn't have enough food. So normally they just eat some very simple food without meat. But during the Chinese New Year festival, they finally can eat something very delicious. They can have meat, they can have a lot of delicious food. And during the whole year, they never wear new clothes. They always wear old and dirty clothes because they didn't have enough money at that time. So finally, during the new year, the parents will buy them new clothes. So they were so happy. And for the first time of the year, they would have some candies. Wow, that is a great happiness for them. But right now, we somehow lose a lot of that happiness because we can eat dumplings whenever we want. It doesn't have to be on the New Year's Eve. You know, maybe next week I want to have some dumplings, I can just cook them. And also, I don't have to wait until the Chinese New Year to buy new clothes. And so people are not like looking forward to the Chinese New Year's Eve like the way we did before. And also in a lot of big cities, firecrackers and fireworks are forbidden. So sometimes people feel it's very quiet. It was not as beautiful as it was before when we were children. There are also some interesting things. It's even a little bit hard time for young people, especially when they're single. When they were young, Spring Festival is a happy time for them. But if they are 20 something and they're single, Spring Festival could be a very hard time for them because they have to go back to their families and all the relatives gather gather together will say, "Oh, you're already 20 something, you're getting older, you're not getting any younger. You should find someone and settle down and get married." So a lot of pressure for them. And it's a new there is a new business for young people to rent a fake boyfriend or a fake girlfriend to go home to show their parents, okay, I am with someone, so don't give me a lot of pressure. So that is very interesting, yeah. And yeah, but when I was single, there was definitely a lot of pressure, but I didn't rent a boyfriend. So it could be a tough time for some young people. And also, even if you're married, you don't have a child, you will also face a lot of pressure. People will try to persuade you to have a baby. And but right now, people have different ways to celebrate the Spring Festival. Maybe they choose to travel because it's a holiday season, and maybe they want to bring their family to go to a different beautiful place to travel together. This is new. Usually, before the tradition is not a traveling time, but it's more and more popular for people to travel. Maybe some beautiful places in the south or even abroad. Another thing is people will bring their family members to watch a big movie, to go to a movie theater to watch a movie together. And this was not common before, but right now it's more and more popular. And the tickets for movies be very expensive during the Chinese New Year's season. because a lot of people want to go to movie theater to watch a movie. And for me, there is a tradition. It doesn't change. A lot of family they will play mahjong in their family, but in my family we don't play mahjong, but we will play poker. We'll play poker cards. When I was little, I would watch my parents, my relatives play poker cards together. Right now, and my husband Jim and I will play poker cards with my parents together. It's a happy time. So this is the tradition I like. Uh-huh. Yeah.
No, well, that's it sounds like the holiday and the traditions have really evolved a lot. That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting though that
Mm-hmm.
you guys play poker and not mahjong, because I know mahjong is really, really popular. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that I like what you said about how some of the magic has been lost in this modern era.
Mm,
Because
mm, mm,
I reflect back too, and I feel very similar to what you just described. I feel very similar about Christmas, and also it really reflects things that my family members have said, that my parents have said. Like when my mom was a little girl, you know, growing up in a small town in rural Ontario,
mm-hmm,
they didn't, you know, they didn't get clothing, uh, you know, all the time. They would maybe get it
mm,
on, you know, Christmas or special events. You know, they would
mm-hmm,
only get presents special times of the year. She said a tradition was also to get things like oranges, because back then, you know, we're talking like the 1960s. Oranges were quite expensive, especially in the winter time. Like they weren't cheap. And so for her just to get a box of oranges and for the family to sit around and eat oranges, she said that was like a really special thing. But
mm-hmm,
now, I mean, it's good. And on the one hand, it's nice that we have all these conveniences and luxuries, and I can go to the store and buy oranges whenever I want. And, you know, you can go on, you know, Taobao and buy clothing whenever you want. And so again,
yeah.
there's conveniences that come with modern life, but at the same time, like you
Mm-hmm,
said, it does cause, you know, some of these older traditions that maybe would have been really special
mm,
in the past when it was more difficult to
mm-hmm,
make jiaozi, it was more difficult to find oranges.
mm,
Maybe it does take away a
mm,
little bit of the magic from these
mm,
traditions, which is, you know, a little sad in some ways, right?
mm. Yeah. And also it is supposed to time where all the family members get together to have a conversation, to talk about what happened and how is everything during this year. But nowadays, young kids, young people, they just want to watch their phones. So they sit there, sit on the sofa, they just stare at their phones, maybe play video games. They don't really want to talk to their families. So it's also a little bit sad. Mhm.
Well, I'll tell you, teenagers are exactly the same here too.
Yeah,
I
everywhere.
yeah, they all want to be on their phone on like TikTok. So the podcast is called A Radiant Light because here we like to focus on different, you know, traditions and beliefs and philosophies that bring peace and enlightenment around the world. So, why do you
Mhm.
think Spring Festival is meaningful for Chinese people? And how do you think it can help to foster, you know, positivity, bringing in the new year? And how can it
Mhm.
help to build a sense
Mhm.
of community for Chinese people around the world?
Mhm. I think there are two key words about Spring Festival. One is beginning. It's a new beginning of the new year. For Chinese people, January 1st is not the beginning of a new year. Our Chinese New Year is the beginning of a new year. And we always say the best time of the whole day it is in the morning, and the best time of the whole year is the beginning of the new year, is the spring. So spring festival, the reason why it is called the spring festival is that it is the beginning of the spring of a new year, and people will make big plans for their new year. They will make best wishes, and also they will send best wishes to others, and they will make plans for themselves to hope that the next year will be better, and they will achieve a lot of things. They will achieve something in their career, and they will also do something and be better in their life. So that's why it is very important, because it's a new beginning. Another keyword is reunion. Nowadays, young people, they will study in another city or study abroad. And also a lot of people will work in another city. It's very common. And for example, in my family, now my husband Jim and I are living in Tianjin, but his parents are in Dongbei, in the northeast part. And my parents are in Shanxi province, in my hometown. So we're very busy. So maybe we don't have a lot of time to visit each other, to get together. But Chinese New Year gives us a time to be together, because it's a tradition. You have to go back with your parents, because our parents are in two different cities. So we have to decide, maybe this year we will go back to visit his parents, and next year we'll go to visit my parents. But either way, we have to be together with our family, to get together, to be reunited. So this is also very important time for us to be with our family. So because of these two keywords, it is a beginning of a new year. Also, it's a time for family reunion. It is special for Chinese people. And also during this year, we'll also visit a lot of friends to give best wishes. So to have all the positive energy, and also to bring positive energy to other people, and to hope next year will be better and be better. So that's how it brings a lot of positive energy to us, and a lot of opportunity for us to be with our family, to show our love. So that is why Chinese Spring Festival is very special for each Chinese person. Mhm.
Yeah, I like that. That's really beautiful. And I think with a lot of traditions around the world, sometimes in this modern age, people really get caught up on, the gifts or the consumerism and buying things. But really, at the end of the day, spending time with your family, that is, I agree, the most important thing. Um, and also just to put things into perspective for our listeners as well, I'm sure most of them have probably not been in China for Chinese New Year. It is a very difficult time to be traveling as well. Um,
Yeah.
so just for our listeners to imagine, I think on any given year there's like I think 200 to 300 million people traveling. So
Mhm,
some close
mhm,
to somewhere close to the entire population of the United States, gets up and is on the go. And the train stations are just, absolutely packed, some tens of thousands of people, hours long lineups.
mhm,
The tickets will really sell out too. If you don't get like a fast ticket, you might have to take like a slow
mhm,
train or a slow bus that might take,
mhm,
15 or 20 hours
mhm,
to get to where you're going. Um, so yeah, so I know a lot of people here might think, oh, okay, you're gonna go visit family, just drive maybe a couple hours, but it is quite the ordeal sometimes for people to return to their hometown or for families to be reunited. It can be quite the challenge.
mhm. Yeah, there is a saying in Chinese, 有钱没钱回家过年. It means whether you have money or not, you must return home to celebrate Chinese New Year. You must be with your family. So yeah, there is Spring Festival travel rush. And I remember when I was a college student, I had to wait for a long time. And when the time comes, I have to buy the ticket as quickly as possible. But maybe in 1 second, all the tickets were sold out. So I was like, no, now this year I had to take a bus or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very difficult.
I remember you telling me about that, and because I from the train, if you take the high speed train, and that's something that's
Mm,
great about China. Something I really
yeah.
deeply miss is the train system.
Mm.
It is it's amazing under normal circumstances. Of course, under in Chinese New Year, all the nice tickets, like you said, are going to sell out. So I think it's how long is it? It's a couple hours on the high speed train, back to Shanxi. But how long was the
Hmm.
bus ride? Didn't you say it was like 20 hours or something ridiculous
For,
like that?
yeah, for the bus, it would take about 10 hours. But for the high-speed train, it will be only 3 hours and a half.
Mm.
So yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
substantial big difference there.
Mm. And also there will be some slow trains, and you don't want to take those slow trains because it takes 15 or 20 hours. Uh, but sometimes you have to if you cannot buy the fast speed train ticket.
Yeah, I made this mistake before. I was traveling during the Spring Festival, and of course I
Mm,
was just traveling around. I wasn't seeing family,
mm,
but
mm.
I didn't plan ahead, and all I could get was a slow train. But not only that, all I could get was not even a seat. It was standing, and it was overnight, and so I was in a pack. It was
Oh,
a packed train, 8 hours overnight, and I couldn't even
oh,
sit down. And I
uh,
was young, and I was like, oh, this will be fine. The first three, I got on the train at like midnight, and then 1 o'clock rolled around, like 2 o'clock, and by 3 o'clock, I was ready to pass out. I was like, I would pay $1,000 for for a bucket to sit on right now.
mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So what about this year? What do you have planned for the
Yeah.
Spring Festival? Any special plans, and what's in store for the Year of the Dragon for you?
Mm, yeah. We have our original plan was to going back to Jim's family to the northeast, but it's a long way and it's going to be very cold. It's the temperature is going to be minus 20 or minus 30 degrees. So I was a little bit worried. And then we decided to not go. Instead, my parents will come to Tianjin. In fact, my dad is already here and he is cooking and he's cleaning the house to take care of me. So yeah, this year we're not traveling anywhere. So just to have a peaceful Chinese New Year in Tianjin, maybe we will play poker cards with my dad and maybe walk around later to find some nice places to walk around. Yeah, it's gonna be peaceful and interesting.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a relaxing time. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
all this talk about New Year is making me miss living in China. And yeah,
Mm.
eating jiaozi and seeing all the fireworks, and going off on adventures on crowded trains. So yeah, I hope that I'll be able to come back some year. And
Yeah, welcome.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, welcome to Tianjin, and you can spend another Chinese New Year here in Tianjin with us. It'll be fun.
Well, thank you. I'd be honored. But yeah, thank you, Sherry, for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And maybe we could just end by teaching or reminding. I know you said a few of them earlier, but reminding our listeners of some of the different greetings they can say
Ah,
to their Chinese
mhm.
friends. So I know
Yeah,
the most common one I believe is 新年快乐, which is happy,
okay.
just 新年快乐, just Happy New Year. What
Yeah,
are some of the other
新年
ones?
快乐. Another way to say Happy New Year is 过年好,过年好. Mhm. And then another common greeting is 恭喜发财,恭喜发财. And also you can say 万事如意，万事如意. It means I wish all the things will happen in this year as your wish. 万事如意. And because this year is going to be the year of dragon, sometimes we will use some Chinese sayings or Chinese idioms with the character dragon in it. For example, a dragon in Chinese is 龙. So you can say happy dragon year, 龙年大吉, 龙年大吉, or 龙马精神, 龙马精神. 龙马精神, it means you will be energetic, you will be full of energy.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Okay. Well, Happy New Year, Sherrie, and Happy New Year to all of our listeners out there. And 新年快乐, everybody. And
新年快乐.
Next time on Radiant Light. Radiant Light kind of feels like it's shifting gears a little bit.
I was thinking kind of like just always level up.
After Zen Buddhism has helped me, what's next?
You're not meant to make ripples like in your life.
Or if they step into that aura, that's a danger zone for them and a controlled environment for you.
Did you choose to take the red pill? Was there ever choice?
Zen Diaries 4. Okay, that appears to be all we have time for on today's episode. So until next time, 新年快乐 and namaste.